Hello lovely people, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. We're going to be talking about a content creator known as Rachel, also known as Rachel Reacts. And if you haven't heard, there's been a little bit of a mess going on that Rachel has involved herself in, and we're going to be taking a look at that today. Before we do get into that, I do want to let you guys know that I do have merch available on my store that is now up and running. All of the designs are hand-drawn by me, and I also have memberships available on my channel. So if you find that interesting and you'd like to help support the channel, check those things out, and I really appreciate it. Also, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. All of that helps me out. I love watching the community grow, but without further ado, let's discuss what's going on. So for those of you who don't know, I'm going to give kind of a quick spark notes into this entire situation, and I'll try and do it as quickly and concisely as possible. There are several content creators involved in this situation at this point. Amberlynn Reid, who is a vlogger slash live streamer. She's someone who has been involved in many controversies. The most recent one involving her ex-partner. Well, actually, I don't even know if it's her ex, because there have been times where they broken up and then they get back together behind the scenes, and it's just really messy. It's very messy between those two. I don't have enough time to get into everything that has gone down between them, but the main person we're going to be focusing on today is Rachel. She is a content creator who makes videos criticizing, discussing, and kind of diving into the community of what is called Girl World. So if you don't know what Girl World is, it's essentially a bunch of problematic people that get talked about because they do some really heinous stuff here and there. Recently, things have kind of reached a tipping point where there have been allegations of animal neglect, animal mistreatment. There have been accusations of DV flying back and forth between Emily and Amberlynn. I've known about Amberlynn for a very long time, but sometimes the people in the peripheral, like the side characters, I find to be a little bit more interesting, and that's what we're looking at today. Now, I don't know if I could really qualify Rachel as a side character at this point, but she has gotten involved in a way that is very messy, in a way that I think she probably should have taken a back seat and just observed. There's a saying in these communities, don't touch the poop. And that, for lack of better words, essentially just means do not get involved directly with these people. For example, someone like Music Biz Marty, who had direct involvement in contacting people that he was discussing and, sending things to their homes, or just really trying to infiltrate the personal lives. Like, once things step off the internet and they go into IRL, it goes a little bit too far. Now, Rachel did not go anywhere near to that extent. However, a lot of people are starting to criticize and take a look at how involved she was. And as you can see, she posts quite frequently about girls in this community. She seems to have very quickly grown an audience, and I find her takes to be usually interesting and pretty nuanced. However, it seems like she started to get a little bit too involved in this community, and we're going to take a look at a post that kind of highlights how deep she's gotten into this. So I'm reading this as of October 24th, so this was posted yesterday on the 23rd. And we're just going to read this entire thing. I don't know if she's going to delete this, but I do want to start off by saying that I really think that instead of doing a post about this, she really should have sat down and did a video and put the same amount of effort into the video that she's been putting into dragging other people online. Let's just get into this and see what she has to say. Hey guys, I am exposing my own fuck up below for transparency. Obviously, there was a fair bit of context which I left out of my last post after I privated my video with Emily's voice note. Basically, Emily gave me the voice note, screenshots, and a clip, which I ended up not using. It was not the rage video. The rage video that she's talking about is the BPD meltdown that everyone has been begging for on Kiwi Farms and Reddit, but she did not get that video. She's saying, I had consent to use them with no strings attached. Prior to this, Emily had told me some pretty damning information about Amber owing her lots of money for the trip they took where Emily drove Amber home. I wanted the receipts for this pretty bad, but I didn't think it was something Emily would be super keen on sharing, so I very stupidly offered Emily that if she was willing to give me these receipts, I would split the AdSense on that separate finance-related video with her. Alright, so this is where the issue is coming in. She's offering And essentially AdSense just equals money. She's offering money to Emily. Later, once the voice note video was well underway, Emily asked if we could just split the AdSense from the voice note video instead of the finance one, as she felt it made no difference. I again stupidly said yes, thinking, well, we're going to split the finance video anyway, so it really makes no difference if we just split this one instead. It is essentially to note that Emily had already given me consent to use the voice note prior to this rearrangement of which video would be split. She also never sent the finance receipts she had mentioned. She did not let me use the voice note because of any money. She had already said yes to this, and then the arrangement was transferred. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I think Emily's being really shady here because yes, screenshots and receipts and all that type of stuff are interesting, but I think Emily knows that something with voice notes is about 10 times more interesting and will probably get 10 times more engagement and clicks and views. So I think that might be why Emily changed her mind. But to me, it's just like, come on, Rachel, you're gonna say, yeah, I'll give her half the money from the videos I make in exchange for receipts and screenshots. It really does make people question, at least me, it makes me question like your moral compass. Like you're getting way too involved in this. We don't need to pay people for receipts and screenshots. But I'm gonna read the second portion. I then became very suspicious that Emily and Amber were talking again. Amber deleted her lives, posted that statement, and it was clear that Emily and Amber were not done with each other. I thought, despite her shitty character, that receipts coming from Emily were still valuable, and showing these did not mean I was defending her. However, it became clear to me that my good intentions were being taken for granted, that Emily did not just want to provide receipts, but in fact, she viewed my videos as payback to Amber for her own personal dramas. I was not comfortable being used as a pawn in their wider game. Well, honey, I'm sorry to tell you, but you kind of played into all of this. You kind of every single time there was a new receipt, a new screenshot, a new voice note, a new anything, you were posting a video about it. And now we find out that you were essentially offering to pay for this information. And okay, hear me out. There's a difference between paying for like access to an article like on the Wall Street Post or something like that, but to directly pay someone that has been involved in this really toxic, messy relationship where there have been allegations of DV, it's too far. This is way too far. She should have just sat back, observed, gathered information other ways that's publicly available. You don't want to dive into these people's lives. Anyways, I therefore decided that there was no way on this earth that I was going to pay this person to make me look like a mug. I kind of have an issue with that. So you were gonna pay her initially, but now that you feel like you're being played, now it's an issue. Now that you feel like it's gonna make you look bad, now you're like, oh no, I don't want to talk about this anymore. I don't want to pay for these screenshots or anything. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like Rachel, in a way, yes, she did get played, but she's also playing her audience slightly. And I don't even think it's like with malicious intent, but I think the popularity of her channel growing, she kind of was feeding into, oh my gosh, this is more attention. I need to make my stories more in-depth, more wild, more interesting, and kind of just feeding off of the hype that was very quickly growing traction around her channel. I told her as much, told her I would happily donate this portion to charity instead, so that I would not benefit from the decision. She got very angry, which, okay, I'm sorry, but from the beginning, that should have been like, if you wanted to like be an advocate for DV or contribute to helping people that have been in similar situations to this, she initially could have started off as saying like, hey, I would like these screenshots. Just so you know, any proceeds from these videos are going to go to a charity. Like, she could have done that. But instead, she decided she was going to pay Emily. But when Emily started playing games, then she's like, no, I'm just going to keep the money and give it to which, you know, she's saying she's going to give it to a charity now, which is good. But it shouldn't have taken you feeling a little bit foolish and silly to have made that decision in the first place. She got in way too deep. She got very angry, suddenly blamed my video for her being harassed, despite having been okay with it prior. She did not want the money to go to charity. She wanted it to be paid. She tried to make it sound like she had not given me consent to use the voice note already. She had, and I can prove it. And she gave me an ultimatum to pay her or to take my video down. I wasn't paying her, so I took the video down. It is now back up. Which I understand, you know, sometimes you get your video taken down or you remove it temporarily and it's frustrating. But it seems like Rachel has just been playing with fire this entire time. Like it sounds like Emily was almost trying to like blackmail her into giving her this ultimatum, like, if you don't give me this money, then I'm gonna get your channel striked or do like a privacy complaint or something like that. And I don't know exactly what Emily is up to. I'm sure she is annoyed with the things going on in her personal life, like maybe people are contacting her workplace, which I don't really feel so hot about that. I don't think people should be doing that. But at the same time, there have been allegations that Emily is not a very great person, and when there have been people in her care, you know, allegedly they are not in a great space. Like their health declines. Let's just leave it at that. I acknowledge that I was an absolute fucking idiot for offering her money under any circumstances, and that it was also wrong to do so and then change my mind afterwards. At the same time, there was absolutely no way that I could, in good faith, to my audience, allow a single penny of the AdSense money from your viewership go to Emily when it was clear that she was enjoying these weird mind games between herself and Amber, and viewed videos made by me as punishment to Amber. Gosh, these are some really long run-on sentences. Blah, 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 blah. So yeah, that's another thing. We as viewers, we didn't know that there was this like behind-the-scenes deal going on between Rachel and Emily. We kind of had an inkling that Rachel was being nice to Emily to kind of keep her in her good graces. But now we're finding out that they were essentially both going to be profiting from the drama involving Amber. And it's like, I feel like Rachel's kind of backtracking now and trying to separate herself from the mess that she directly involved herself in. And I don't know if Emily reached out to her or who reached out to who first, but for the conversation to have gone on for this long and gotten this involved, Rachel, you fucked up big time. This was icky to me. I wanted receipts. That was all. I was mad about Amber still owing Beck the inheritance money, and I wanted everyone to know that Amber had financially screwed over another ex, and therefore I made an offer I shouldn't have made, and realized that it was a mistake too late. I understand if people are mad at me for this. The portion offered to Emily will be going instead to charity. On or around November 26th, I will post a donation receipt here. Emily's response to the situation proved that my intuition was right. Her intention was never to get her story out as a DV victim, and I was wearing some serious rose gold glasses in pursuit of the receipts. Now, I understand she's trying to be like a little bit funny here, like talking about the rose gold glasses. It's a reference in the Amberverse, which I've thought about making some content or talking about some of the stuff going on. But honestly, at this point, there's so much, so I might just save that for a much later date. But as you can see, this was all in pursuit of receipts. She keeps talking about receipts, 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 and I don't think she's really acknowledging the fact that she was directly profiting from these receipts. She's profiting from the DV story. She, like, all of her stuff is just, Amber did this and Amber did that. And don't get me wrong, I am not an ALR apologist. Let me make that real fucking clear. All the things that happened with her cat Rarity, oh, fuck that. I'm sorry. I gotta keep it professional. But I'm not an ALR apologist, nor an Emily apologist. I'm just talking about someone who makes commentary videos that, you know, I make commentary videos, and I would just hope that this could be like a teaching moment for a lot of people in the community, that it's like when you go to an art museum, you observe, but you don't touch it. And we see what happens when you do. Let's see. All right. And then she says, sorry for being a twat. I don't think you're being a twat. I think you're being a little bit naive to the impact that you have. Naive that the people watching you don't want this. This is not the type of content. Well, maybe there are some people that want to see things get this messy, but I don't. I did get some interesting receipts though. Please see this Venmo below, where Amber was blocked on all platforms, so sent Emily $1 because she wanted her to answer the phone at 1 a.m. Speak soon, X. So this is the screenshot she's talking about. That's not really too interesting to me. It's just Amber being desperate and trying to get attention from Emily. But some of the comments here, I feel really highlight how a lot of us are feeling. Now, some people are saying to give the money to Beck. So this one says, Rachel, please consider giving that money to Beck. This would be the best use of it and the biggest slap to Amber, and Beck fully deserves and needs it. I feel like that would redeem you in many of our eyes. Which, I understand that people have a lot of empathy for Beck, and Beck went through a lot with Amber. However, I again think that financially contributing to people that you don't know directly, that aren't a part of a charity or like a nonprofit organization, it again has this possibility to get messy. Because, well, what if in 2 years or 2 months or whatever, Beck comes out and says something and everyone turns on Beck, which I don't think that would happen. I don't think Beck is that type of person, but everyone's saying give the money to them, and I think it would be a better idea, less messy, to, give those profits just directly to a charity and kind of rinse your hands of it. Because reaching out to Beck, that is yet again, that's the issue that got us here in the first place, is engaging with Amber's exes. It seems like a lot of people in her audience are saying give it to Beck. It's kind of just at Rachel's discretion at this point to do what she sees or what she deems appropriate with the money. Now, this comment makes a really good point. They say, if this had all gone like you expected, we would not even know our views were paying Emily. Disgusting behavior. And this is where I feel like a lot of her audience is going to end up turning on her, because she did not clarify this. She did not talk about this. She only is coming out about it once she felt that Emily had kind of cut her off and was changing her mind and trying to redact her voice being used on her channel. Okay, so this person, Pat Ray, they bring up a really good point. No, she actually didn't claim she changed her mind because she realized it's wrong. She said she pulled out the deal to save face. Reread the post. So yeah, this person brings up a really good point. She didn't want to be made a fool of, but she's kind of making herself look like a fool right now, which sucks. This person says, giving money to a alleged abuser. Come on, Rachel, are you okay? I think it's time to give this a rest. Really take a step back and look at what you're doing. Even your apology. I did get some interesting receipts though. Are you serious? Hope it was worth it. And that's the thing. That's what I think it really boils down to. She was so dead focused on getting these receipts, like getting this exclusive tea, which, I don't know, I think allegations of DV and animal mistreatment, that's not really tea. It's more so like crimes, like it's criminal. But, since it's all on YouTube, it can be kind of taken lightly. Or, that's at least how I perceive that maybe Rachel is viewing that. Oh, it's all online. But this stuff is serious. Like, it has serious implications. And you're kind of playing a talk show host, like paying them to share their story when it seems like you didn't think it through very well. This person, Adriana, says, knowing my views and support for your content could have directly funded Emily's pocket, and finding this info now is pretty disappointing. I can't lie. If it all went to plan, would you have discussed this agreement in the finance tea video, or did you think the audience would have supported that? And this person says, I thought it was strange how sympathetic you've been to Emily, but this is just the nail in the coffin. When you do stuff like this, you lose all credibility. And I think that was the word I was trying to think of earlier, but I couldn't quite put my finger on it. But yes, her credibility has officially tanked. Like, when you lose trust with your audience and you lose that respect from them, like, I'm sure she can kind of recover from this and eventually like regain and rebuild her audience, especially with how fast it's been growing. But still, like, there are a lot of people that probably really looked up to you and saw your posts and the way you talked about things to be very interesting and fascinating. But to know that you were paying to essentially have all of this quote unquote tea, or you were offering to pay to have all this tea, it just makes all of your stories seem biased and one-sided. Like, of course you're going to be Team Emily if you guys are both in cahoots to get views and money and profit off of all of this. This person makes a very good point. They say, offering money to her in the first place is fucking wild, way too far, way too involved. Lol cows on the internet are a hobby. Actively participating and incentivizing their mess, however, just makes you an active part of their messy world. Yeah, it's like, I hate to say it, but you're in too deep. Like, pull out while you still have a chance. Let's see what this person has to say. I think it's more about the morality of it all. If you wanted to give a platform to someone to call out DV and or general mistreatment, as you claimed, you wouldn't have offered money for that information. In a way, that's exploitation, and then to come out and admit this only because the deal didn't go through is really scummy. I'm not sure if your intentions were pure to begin with now, or if you just wanted something to polarize your channel to get more views and subs. That's a really good point. I mean, we see how much she's grown over the past few months. Like, she's getting pretty decent views off of this really engaging content, but it seems like it's come at a price. Literally. Oh, now this is a really good point. Seems kind of unlikely you didn't know Emily was using you to punish Amber. I think we all assumed that that's what was happening. Amber has even said several times that whenever Emily went to a reaction channel, it was because they were fighting and she wanted to hurt her. Also, you said you waited until Amber came back from her break to post the original video. Was that not to hurt Amber as much as possible with the timing? Didn't you imply in Jordy's chat that that's exactly what you did? So you can fuck with Amber's head, but being a conduit for Emily to do the same thing is where you draw the line morally. Then you ended this apology with another screenshot that Emily gave you in order to humiliate Amber. Like, you're still doing it. I don't know. The whole thing seems illogical. And that's a really good point. It's like you were fine with Emily coming to you, and you know the history that Emily has with going to reaction channels and just being a mess. And then when she came to you, you're like, it seems almost to me like I can fix her. like I can show her the way. I'll be the reaction channel that gets this woman who has been involved in some crazy messy bullshit to settle down, and we'll have a conversation that's productive, and they're both gonna leave each other alone. No! I'm sorry, but they're both a little bit loopy. They both have some screws loose. Like, everyone in the community was criticizing Emily not too long ago because of what happened with her past partner. Multiple partners, it seems, have been messy on both sides. Emily and Amber have both had a really messy history with their past partners, and it's all coming to light. So I don't know why Rachel thought it'd be a great idea to get involved. We see that this is the fallout of when you fly a little too close to the sun. This person flat out says, I wouldn't have watched if I knew Emily was going to get money from my view. Gosh, there are so, like, this post really did blow up, but she's barely responding to any of them. The one post that she did heart and respond to says, I adore you, Rachel, but please stop interacting with Justin Feeder for real. Just let them crash and burn. There's no worse karma than being a bad person. It's kind of interesting that she decided to like this post. That is, okay, I feel like this is really kind of shady because she likes a post that is flattering to her, then insults Emily, and pretty much is like still like slightly a fan. Like, there's criticism, but it's interesting that she didn't like any, or she didn't heart any of these other ones. Like, she didn't, you ignored all of this. You ignored all of this, but the one that's insulting Emily, that's the one that you're gonna go for. All right, girly. And then she says, she's blocked now. I don't think this is a laughing matter, sweetie. I don't think you should be laughing. Like, it's kind of given, like, the more I read into this, it's kind of giving a little bit of like an ego. Oh, wait, there's some. Thanks for the extra context and accountability. And this is exactly why you never touch poo. All right, I'm glad she did. I'm glad she did acknowledge this one, at least. Because, yeah, this person was 100% right. She did touch the poo. Let's see what she replied to this one. I'm dumb, but at least now you all know. Ha ha ha. Okay, so it kind of seems like she's taking the piss out of herself a bit, so maybe I'm reading into it a little bit too much. Maybe this is a more serious situation. Maybe it's just a little hiccup and a fuck up that she'll learn and grow from, but I don't know. What do you guys think? Tell me down below. I don't know what this is going to mean for the future of Girl World and the community at large, but let me know what you guys think. Do you think she handled this correctly? Do you think she should give the money to Beck? Or should she donate to a, DV shelter or some other charity? Do you think that she handled this in a way that was mature and appropriate? Or do you think that she just needs to like take a break altogether and do some reflection? In my opinion, I really wish she would have, again, addressed this in a video because I feel like posting on your community tab is a little bit of a cop-out. But regardless, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Remember to subscribe if that's something you're interested in. If you would like to support the channel, check out my merch store. And I hope you guys have a great day. I hope you are having... Oh, it's Friday. Hell yeah. It's been a long ass week. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy your Friday, enjoy your weekend, have a great time. Give your pets some love, give them some kisses, give them some treats. Stay safe out there. You know, this world is a little bit crazy, but I hope you guys have a good one. And of course, as always, stay lovely.